welcome. Episode number 9 of ChatGDG. And today we are with a guest which is really, close to me in this moment because he's Nishant. He's a second year student of computer science at Imperial College. He's also right now a GDSC lead. So GDSC, we remind to people, is Google Developer Students Club. So he's going to lead among a couple of other people the chapter for the Imperial College. And also he has been the very first intern from the GDG Academy program. And that's why the logo is GDG Academy, because of course, this episode would be more tailored towards the initiative. So without further ado, Nishan, welcome. Thank you for taking the time. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. That was a very good introduction. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having this chat with you. It's been a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to
Nice
it.
one. Brilliant. I would say, why don't we start? Why don't you start introducing yourself to the people? That would be probably the
Yeah.
best. So
Yes.
here we go.
Yeah. Okay. So hi, I'm Nishant. As you can see it down right here. Yeah. And I just finished my first year at Imperial, going to second year. I was the intern at the Times. I've been pretty passionate about computer science ever since I was little. Started off as a hobby and then slowly transformed into, yeah, this is something I want to do. So I took that into mind. I kept pursuing, kept learning different stuff in computer science, especially on the fronts of Android development and web development.
Hmm.
Yep. And so far it's been going great. No complaints, no turning back. It's a simple one road for me.
Nice one. How young were you when you started, getting interested in this field?
My first program was written in QBasic when I was 11, 10, 11 years old.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty very young. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that
Mhm.
just out of curiosity? Is that maybe someone in your family that was already in the field, or maybe just something completely out of the blue that you know?
Well, our school in like my middle school did teach QBasic. So, my computer tutor who used to come home and tutor me, he taught me extensively. Like he did not care about the syllabus. He just started with me and like he taught me a majority of QBasic. And he saw something, I guess. He was like, you know what, Nishant, since you're quite interested in this, you're good at problem solving. Why don't I teach you Java? So I wrote my first line of code within that year as well, and
Okay,
that's how I started getting interested in it.
that's fascinating. So the first
Hmm.
line of Java at the age
Yeah.
at the age of 11 or 10.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's interesting, right? Because when you speak with people, even 20, 25, 27 years old,
Hmm.
many of these people can say, yeah, I've got 2 years of experience, 3 years of experience. So I found fascinating that you are 20, right?
Going to be 20,
Going to
actually.
be very, very
Yeah.
soon, going to be 20. You are
Hmm.
already, quote unquote, a few years of experience under your belt. Of
Yeah.
course, probably not commercial experience, but,
Hmm.
nevertheless, as we know, the only way to get better at coding is to keep doing that, to keep
Yes.
practicing. So by the fact that you've been practicing, it's like quite a few years, even
Yeah.
before
Hmm.
going to the university, I think it says something about not only the passion, but about your technical skills that are
Hmm.
already very very good. I can confirm that, but we will we will talk about that in a little bit. Another
Hmm.
thing that I'm curious, right? So you've been selected from Imperial
Hmm.
College. Imperial College is a very very prestigious university, very high
Yeah.
ranked. So I don't think it's gonna be that easy, to get
Right.
into that. I know that
Hmm.
the acceptance level is something about 7%, 8%. So it's a very
Probably.
low number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you tell us more, like first in first, why Imperial College and why not? some other university, and then
Hmm.
how was the process to get there?
Right. So I kind of like wanted to study abroad because of difference in culture and a very diverse college experience. So I was looking into countries like the USA and the UK mainly. And the thing about UK is it's a lot more focused on the subject. Like US tends to give a lot of extracurricular modules that you must take in order to get your degree.
Ah, interesting.
But UK
Okay.
is kind of like really, really specific. It's like if I'm in computer science, I only study computer science and math. Maybe a little bit English here and there, but that's not even relevant.
Okay.
So yeah, so in that way you also finish your degree faster. So a bachelor's here is 3 degrees apart from 4 years in US.
Okay.
So it's a bit shorter, but again, there's also the option of doing a 4 years integrated master's instead of doing a 3 year bachelor's degree. And that is a more common degree at Imperial, doing a 4 year integrated master's.
Interesting. Can you explain also for me because unfortunately I'm a little bit ignorant in the matter. So
Hmm.
if let's imagine I'm back being 18 again or 19 again, and I want to join a university, so the
Yeah,
choices that I have are assuming that that I can join and all of that, but the
right.
choices are like either a 3 years bachelor or
Yeah,
a 4 years, which is the 3 years bachelor with already embedded or integrated the
yes.
master, which is usually 1 year, right?
1 year, yes.
Okay, so it's like pretty much is a that's a bundle
Yeah, it's
ish.
like a bundle
Okay.
offer. Yeah. Also, you do get some colleges do offer placement years. So you can do a 4 year bachelor's degree with one placement year. Like you do work for 1 year, which is part of your degree.
Ah, okay, that's very
Yeah.
interesting. So the same amount of time, still 4 years, but you don't study for 4 years, you study for three, and
Yeah.
the fourth at some point, I don't know, maybe is that the third of these 4 years
Yeah.
where you actually
You have to
work, I
work.
think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, okay, interesting. So it's like a full year. It's not even a third year placement. It's a full year. It's like 12
It's a
months.
full year. Yes. I
Wow,
think so.
okay.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't know. See, I'm learning quite a lot of things. So,
Mhm.
and let's say, and then you decided from the get go, okay, I want to do this 4 years. So I've already have the master, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Right. And I don't know how like of course it is very difficult to get into Imperial College London. Like acceptance rate, as you said, is like really low. But again, like you never know what's in the mind of the admissions officer, what actually they liked, what they dislike.
Mm, 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 mm.
So it's a lot more on what they want as well, right? So you could be a brilliant candidate, even Oxford or Cambridge want you in their college, but maybe something about you does not appeal to other universities like Imperial or UCL, which are great universities.
Mm, mm.
So there's always a give or take. There's no one right answer on like how you get into a big college.
Interesting. So what we can say instead of course giving the magic formula, because I don't think
Hmm.
that there is, but
Hmm.
we can say something different. So don't feel discouraged, or don't say I don't even I don't even try because they for sure they will reject me. So don't
Yeah.
assume things, right? Because what you said is pretty valuable. I think at the
Hmm.
end of the day, there is always someone, right, who
Hmm.
call the shots. And if for some reason you are the person that this person is looking for,
Hmm.
yes, bingo. So
Yeah.
uh, that's, I think, very, very, very interesting. So how was the process? It was an interview process. You had to submit something. Like, how did it work?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a quite extensive process. For me personally, it took more than a year for this process
What?
to, yeah,
A year?
more than a year. It's a bit of a special case for me.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Because first of all, you start applying before you give your last year examinations in high school. So
Mm.
you send in your application before you get your actual results from your high
Ah,
school.
okay. Oh.
And so first, once you apply, they read your application, they read your essay. Then, if they like it, they'll ask you for a small, very easy math exam. This is specific to Imperial. They ask you for a math exam. If you succeed in that, then they ask you for an interview. And if you succeed in that, then they give you an offer with a certain condition. So you need to achieve a minimum of this much marks in your high school exam in order for you to get into the college.
Okay.
Additionally, there was another condition that I'm supposed to give a math exam, which is conducted by University of Cambridge, and I need to achieve a specific grade in that math exam as well. So,
Wow.
yeah, so it was, I had to do a lot of stuff. I had to also prepare for this math exam, um, like on its own. But the problem was that because of the COVID year in 2021,
Yeah.
back here, the government shut down all examination centers, so I could not give the high school exams, nor I could
Mm.
give the Cambridge exam, which Imperial asked me to give. And when high school gave me my marks, they gave me a poor mark in mathematics exam. So I did not succeed
Oh,
in getting
wow.
into Imperial the first time I tried.
Okay.
However, the high school gave an option that you could appear in person for the math exam around 2 3 months later, and you can get it corrected, and that would be your final score. Your initial
Okay.
score, which was given to us, would be rejected. It's like a retest, but for a test that never happened. So I gave that math exam, and then I succeeded in that. I got the required mark. But since it was already way too late for me to actually start applying to this
Hmm.
Imperial, they had to give me an offer for next year. And that's how I had to like take a gap year. And within that, I also prepared for the math exam by Cambridge.
Okay.
And if that in the second year, when everything was okay, COVID and lockdown was not there anymore, I succeeded in that and as well, and that's how I've entered into Imperial. So it took like 1.5 years for the entire thing to finish.
Wow. I appreciate that your was, a little bit of a probably edge case or something, but it's
Yeah.
still, even if everything went, smoothly, in terms of
Mhm.
all of that, is still quite intense process, time
Yeah.
consuming.
Mhm.
Wow, I think probably in all the interviews that I've done in all the companies that I work for, probably I
Mhm.
haven't done something that intense. So that just
Yeah.
to give like the people
Mhm.
a some metrics in terms of wow,
Yeah.
it's very difficult. I mean, this is the
Mhm.
reality of things.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Otherwise, probably everyone would want to go to such a prestigious universities. Of course,
Mhm.
the selection, process has to be strict. So wow,
Yeah.
okay. Congratulations for your determination. That clearly is
Yeah.
something that you really wanted to do,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
otherwise you can't engage in a year long, even more than a year long process. So
Yeah.
that's kudos to you. So hopefully a rhetorical question. So right now, can you say that that was worth it, all your
Ah,
effort?
yes,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So definitely you don't want to hear, no, I, regret. No.
Oh,
You are,
no, no, no,
it's fine.
definitely.
It's great. It's going great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
Fantastic.
I'm grateful that I actually took a year off after high school
Mm.
because that gave opportunities to like really explore different stuff and try out a lot of different things. So hadn't if I didn't have that, I would just be, oh, I'm leaving high school, leaving academics and going back to it again. There's like
Okay.
no year to relax. So kind of like my mind was a bit more soothed and calm and it was a good year.
Okay, nice one. Anything in particular that, came out from that year? Any area that you were able to explore?
I extensively got to explore a lot of computer science as I started internships and jobs at that point of time here in India.
Oh, okay.
And I extensively got into teaching. So I used to tutor on an online platform called Schoolhouse. So
Wow.
that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, also because if you really want to know something, try to
Mm.
teach that thing because that's
Yeah.
probably the best way of actually knowing something. Very
Yes.
interesting. Okay, so that really that year gave you the exposure to do different things, right? And to
Mhm.
try
Mhm.
different things. So
Mhm.
nice, interesting. And again, kudos to you that you invested that time in a productive way, because of
Yes.
course quite a few people is not that difficult to hear story about maybe people a little bit too relax, but I
Yeah.
mean a little bit of relax is great, don't get me wrong, but
Right.
it's also important to
Hmm.
get some value from the time that you invest.
Yeah.
Nice. So how was it after 1.5 year finally you've
Hmm.
been admitted to Imperial? You actually, so when you've done all of that, you were still in India, right? Because you
Hmm.
finished the high school there,
Yeah.
you took this gap year
Hmm.
there. At some
Yes.
point you had to come here, right?
Yes.
Because the
Yeah.
university started for you, I think it's
Hmm.
like last year, october
Yes. Yeah.
october last year. So
Hmm.
how was the move? You actually moved from
Hmm.
India to
Hmm.
UK, so a big thing, especially
Yeah.
at your young age. And on top
Hmm.
of that, going into the Imperial College in London. What was
Hmm.
your feeling, expectations versus reality, kind of thing?
Right. So, thankfully, like fortunately, my parents were able to come with me. So they were a major help when to
Ah,
help me
cool.
move, to help me settle. So they were there for me for at least a week. They helped me shop, buy all the necessary stuff, went to college with me, and yeah, and we also had lots of fun in London because it was the first time that they visited London as well.
Mm,
So overall, it was not a very difficult situation, and it wasn't too difficult to move as I have lived in other foreign countries as well. So once you like, you get to know how it is, how foreign countries work,
mm.
how culture is different. So you do expect culture differences, and yes, you do receive them. So the transition was smooth, and college life, the first few months were as I expected. So there wasn't a lot of learning, a lot of teaching, more about parties and fun and
Mm.
getting settled down. So even the college acknowledges that. So they don't put a lot of pressure on you, except for like 1 or 2 weeks in November, which was a bit tough on us. Otherwise, we've got most of the first term, which is not too difficult, but not that easy as well. It was a it was like a preparation. So
Mm.
you do get to relax, but you also get to prepare like what's gonna come in the following years.
Interesting, very interesting. First thing
Mhm.
first, I know how important is to have your yeah, in this case your parents or even very good friends or
Mhm.
relatives. So to have some family, let's put it
Yeah.
that way, to have some family around is very important. So that definitely, I think that helped you. So pretty nice. No, but it's very interesting. So also I found fascinating to hear that what you plan no what you plan sorry, the expectations that you had for the first few weeks were
Mhm.
actually pretty comparable with the
Yeah.
reality, which is
Hmm.
pretty cool. So you
Yeah.
had your ideas were clear, you had a pretty clear vision that was
Hmm.
turned out to be quite true. So what happened during those couple of weeks in November that you mentioned?
Okay. So we just had a lot of deadlines, like
Mm,
6 assignment deadlines, a couple of exams that time. So it was a bit of pressure on us because even like doing the assignments, we kind of lose out on actual lecture content. which is important for like December portion.
Ah,
So
okay.
you kind of like fall back behind, which is inevitable if you're in a tough college. So yeah, I guess I wouldn't complain too much about that. It's part of the degree.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Hmm.
fair enough, especially if we are talking about really a couple of tough weeks, but just
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, not a couple of months or a couple of years. So still fine. And of course, I would imagine, is expected to
Hmm.
every now and then, find some slightly tougher blocks because,
Yeah.
again, it's a competitive, uni.
Yes.
So it's not a walk into the park, right? So
Hmm. No,
I think
definitely not.
definitely
Hmm.
not. Um, so are you? I don't even need to ask whether you are still sure about your choice in terms of
Hmm.
computer science. So
Hmm.
that's still what you want to do, because now that you probably have met a few people from Imperial, I know that there are, of course, a lot of different things that you can study there. There is
Yeah.
like one of the most probably most famous is electronic engineering with the computer
Yes.
science,
Right.
specialty. I don't know how is that called.
I think it's called Electrical and Informatics Engineering. So
Okay.
EIE is the short
Ah, yeah,
form.
yeah, yeah. Okay, nice. I know
Yeah.
quite a few people
Hmm.
took that course. So
Hmm.
very, interesting. So computer science is still your number one choice, which is
Yes.
okay. Great.
Yeah.
It's important to to know that. And do you? I would imagine that you would have met, a few friends there, a few
Hmm.
colleagues. So how
Hmm.
was the first year, your first year at Imperial College?
Um, Again, like sometimes tough, sometimes
Mm.
easygoing. There are quite a lot of friends to hang around with. There's a huge Indian community, so you can bond with a lot of people, especially those who are based in India. Um, as far as the things that like helped me smoothly transition into Imperial is, since I was supposed to join a year ago, I had friends who did join Imperial. So when I was gonna come the following year, they kind of told me about what to expect, how to, you know,
Okay.
how to go about university, and told me like what I should prepare before or after, or which are the tough weeks. So I kind of knew that
Mm.
November was coming. Still, it wasn't as it wasn't as smooth, but you kind of know it's coming. So yeah, the first year is good, yes, and we had exams in May, which weren't too bad. And yeah, I got a decent score, and I know many of my friends who did, and some of them who didn't get as expected. So
Mm.
it's always a give or take.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So can we
Mhm.
say that perhaps some of the one of the activity that maybe might have helped you, you know, um, knowing new people and gathering more friends is the
Mhm.
Google program GDSC, Google
Yes.
Developer Students Club, that is one of is the most I think one of the most recent programs
Hmm.
for Google in terms of the community. I think it's like a couple of
Yeah.
years old or something.
Hmm.
So it's still there is a lot to do there, but I think it's a beautiful thing. So I know that last year you've been part of the core team for the
Yes.
GDSC Imperial College,
Right.
and from this year, so we are pretty much we are starting in a month time.
Yeah.
You already are one of the new leads for the coming year for GDSC
Yes.
Imperial College.
Yeah.
What's the deal there? One and two, how did you even get to be part of that? Where did you
Right.
hear about that program? Like what
Right.
happened there?
Yeah. So I get this question a lot since I just joined Imperial, and people were like, "How are you part of the core already?" Well, as I said, like I had a couple of friends who were in first year because I was supposed to join the year ago. So they advertised the role hiring in like beginning of September. So when we were still preparing to go to college. So I saw that advertisement, I went for it, and the leads, they liked my enthusiasm, they liked my passion, and they were like, "Come aboard. There's no issue."
Nice.
So
So,
it was mainly through a friend contact that I
mm,
got to hear about it.
okay, cool. That's pretty
Mhm.
cool. And then you joined that, and what happened? What kind of activities did you do there? Like,
Mhm.
what was the deal there?
Right. So when we joined, we had like a workshop. So where we were teaching software engineering for about 6 weeks, starting from end of October to December. So in this 6 weeks, we had like four technical directors specializing in different areas of software engineering. So one of our seniors in computer science, he taught a bit of React development in the first 2 weeks. Then we had one EIE student who did project management, like a bit of Trello, how
Okay.
to use Trello and how to become a project manager for a week. Then next week I took over and I taught them how to code in Node.js, Express, create a backend server.
Mm,
So in this part, I actually created a Trello clone. So because they already learned about Trello, it would be nice to know what happens at the back end of Trello. So I created the UI, and then for the back end we did simple create, read, update, and
mm,
delete the crude operations, crude
Shit. Yeah.
like
True.
that.
Yeah.
Crude. And then the last week, we handed it over to the DevOps person. So he also continued my Trello project, and he explained how to Dockerize it, how to publish it, to the cloud, and all those various things. So this was our whole 6 week program. That was what we did in our first quarter, in our first 3 months.
Wow. Pretty very interesting. Also, the
Mhm.
fact that you've transformed that rather than having like the ad hoc or stand alone sessions. From what
Yeah.
I understand, you were able to combine that in a project, right? So
Yes.
the and that I think is very very valuable. That's probably the best
Mhm.
way of doing something like that, because the engagement it is there. People want to know what happened next. For example,
Yes.
okay, you build the product, but then it needs to be containerized in order to publish that. So there are many many steps. Very
Yes.
interesting. Okay, how
Mhm.
many people
Mhm.
took part of the workshop?
It started off quite well. Around, I'm not really sure about the numbers. Maybe about a
Roughly.
hundred.
Okay, wow, it's a big number.
Yeah, yeah. And by the end, we dropped down to maybe 20, 25, which is still a good number of people and a
Yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
retainment. Since it's spanned over 6 weeks and Imperial gets tougher, so beginning everyone comes in, but slowly it kind of dies out. So I think till 25 was a good number of people attending. Yes.
Yeah, nice one. And then,
Mhm.
did you do anything else, like in terms of not? I mean, not just like you, but also as a GDSC, like in
Yeah.
terms of activities.
Yes. We did an AI datathon. We partnered with another club in our Imperial in our college, and it was called the AI Summit, the Datathon, where you were given a task, and using artificial intelligence or data analysis, you had to complete some kind of task or something similar. I was just like getting pizza around and helping,
Hmm.
but I'm not really sure about the specifics of this. But we hosted that event, and it was a pretty successful event. That was really good. Then when we turned over to the next year, like in in the after the winter break, of course the GDG Academy came along, and that was a pretty good success with us. And yes, then since it was kind of the first year of GDSE, we didn't make it too stressful for us. we kind of went things slow, make a foundation, get people interested in it. So hosting these workshops and that datathon and collaborating with GDG Academy, it was a good start for us. And moving on from this year, we can actually like host more events, more standardized, more established events. So it's going to be a better year this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Especially you've laid the foundations,
Hmm.
already, which is
Hmm.
very important. So now I think this name of this GDSC, since it's the second year, people from Imperial, okay, maybe these people, they've done something cool last year, so let me
Yeah.
check them out this year. So that's, of course,
Hmm.
that is the game, right? So we need to establish ourselves first in order to our entities and initiatives, so people start to
Yeah.
get to know us and then start to appreciate the all the effort, because it's a lot of effort. I know this very, very well. So even when you were saying, yeah, I would just there, bringing pizza and whatnot, that's, of course,
Yeah.
that's part of the job, because you're
Yes.
part of the organization group. So yes,
Yeah.
among the all the things, there is also helping with the very little things.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's very important, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So very, very, very cool. So we talked about the academy. Interesting. So the academy, that's fascinating, because everything started, if you remember, everything started during DevFest.
Yes.
Last year, DevFest in London.
Hmm.
DevFest was held at King's College, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. There were a few rooms there.
Yes.
Uh, that was the first time, because sorry, I need to go back a few weeks,
Yeah. I
because
was gonna say in
yeah,
Amsterdam.
in Amsterdam, no, was in sorry, London. So was the
Okay.
3rd of December of last year,
Right.
the 3rd to the 5th. There was the 5th. There was a Google Summit.
Okay.
The Google Summit, where there were the leads from the GDSC, and then there's
Yeah.
some people from GDG, Women Tech Maker, and GDE in
Hmm.
London. So it
Hmm.
was a event, UK, Ireland.
Oh,
So
okay.
during that, event, where of course you were not there, because you were part of the core team, but at the time
Yes.
you were not one of the leads, right?
No.
So that's why
Yeah.
you weren't there. But
Yes.
I mentioned this because this is interesting, because pretty much over there the seed was planted there. So
Hmm.
the initially the idea was a different one, but the long story
Okay.
short is, coming from that idea evolved to
Into.
now, actually become what is now GDG Academy. So this is key, and this is key because they've created a WhatsApp group
Hmm.
for all the people joining that summit. So there is a WhatsApp group with a lot of people there, and a few days, so if I'm not mistaken, a few days before the Death Fest,
Okay.
and that's why the Death Fest is important.
Yeah.
Clement, that
Hmm.
was the lead of last year, is done an incredible job. I think
Hmm.
he's done a very, very good job. Clement was
Hmm.
pretty much the person that I have to deal with in order to organize the academy and all of that. He
Yeah.
really helped a lot. So
Yes.
kudos to Clem and shout out. So yeah, pretty much. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was either him or the other lead, Nicholas. So let's say
Nicholas. Okay.
either one of the two, they
Okay.
posted on this WhatsApp group
Right.
that was already being created for the previous summit, something
Right.
like, we want to give our people, so the people from the GDSC Imperial, something
Yeah.
like an hour of time with a couple of professionals, just
Right.
to mingle a little bit, just to ask questions. So it was a really one off. And
Hmm.
I've read that, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. So in a
Right.
week time, there is going to be DevFest.
Hmm.
So the long story short is, we organized to catch up during the dev fest, right?
Right.
And that's when, probably because you were there, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
was there. Yep.
Yes, so you were there. So that was the
Mm-hmm.
first time that I was like myself, was like Bruno, Lorenzo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who else was there from the, let's say, the
Mm-hmm.
GDG side. From the
Right.
GDSC side, there were, of course, Clement was there,
Mm-hmm.
you were there, and a few other Imperial College,
Yes.
either students slash core
Yeah.
members. So there
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit like 8 people, 10 people, or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we can say that that was unofficially the very first session of the academy, because that was something that we've done in a spontaneous way,
Yeah.
because we were supposed just to have
It
a
was
little
good.
chat, but then we thought, okay, let's try to see if there is a free room.
Mm-hmm.
We found a free room, and then we
Yeah.
pretty much went there. It was like a couple of us from one side and a few of you from the other side, and there was this very interesting Q&A. What we've done is pretty much a panel, because if
Yeah.
you remember, there was us sitting here, and of course you guys asking questions and
Yeah.
having this very interesting back and
Right.
forth. And that was
Yes.
the sparkle. So that was the almost the POC, right? The proof of concept. Ah, okay, this is
Yes.
interesting. What do you remember from that day?
I remember the Deaf Fest.
Hmm.
It was pretty cool. Getting up early morning, and Clement messaged saying that, "Hey, meet us in the cafeteria because there's some CV screening thing that I'm doing with some professionals."
Ah, also, yeah, the
That's
CV
what
screening. I
that's
I
what
forgot
Clement had
about that.
messaged.
Yes.
Yeah. So we all came up to the cafeteria at one point of time. Then we were looking for the room. Had the entire talk, and it was pretty good. I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of important people as well, like you, Bruno, Eddie Jaud.
Oh, Eddie.
Yes, he
Always,
was.
always Eddie is always great. Always, always.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah,
got to meet a lot of interesting people. Got to connect with a lot of experts out there. So it was a
nice
pretty
one.
successful event, a pretty nice one. Looking forward for this year as well.
Yeah, yeah. That was for very good from both
Hmm.
sides, right? So
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
Yes.
So the long
Actually,
story. Sorry, go ahead.
okay, sorry. But when I was in here in India, I used to read about, ooh, the Deaf Fest is happening, and ooh, there's this
Mhm,
Google event happening. So when Clement first brought up that we had tickets to the Deaf Fest, I was like, wow, okay, this is actually something I really need to go to because
mm.
this is something I've been looking forward to even 2-3 years ago. So that excitement also like nicely motivated me to come to the event and be a part of it.
Yeah, good, very very good. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And that pretty much, again, that really sparkled the idea and the interest to try to create something a little bit more, structure, and not just one off an hour chit chat, but something slightly better. And then, yeah, we had another session. The session was most of a pitch session. There was not a proper
Yes.
mentoring session,
Right.
but there was the time where a few from GDG Cloud London, was like myself again, Bruno, Lorenzo, Natalie, she was there.
Yeah.
Who else was there? Was like, I think, us or someone else. And
Um.
then if you
Mhm.
from your side, you were
Yeah.
there, Clement was there, and also
Yeah.
other people. And that was the
Yes.
actual pitch. So I was
Mhm.
able at the time to put together a few slides, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I've shown these slides to you in terms, hey, do we want
Yeah.
to do this? What do you think? And the response was pretty positive.
Yes.
And then, yeah, pretty much we say, okay, cool, let's do that. And if I'm not mistaken, exactly from that day, from that episode,
Mhm.
the partnership between
Yes.
GDSC Imperial and pretty much the GDG Cloud London for the
Right.
academy, started. And
Yes.
then we had the kickoff meeting finally. So
Hmm.
finally, we had a kickoff meeting. Was in early September. Sorry, early
February.
February.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. The
last year.
pilot
No,
pilot
last year.
mentorship.
This year.
This
What
year.
am I doing? I don't know. My concept of
Yeah.
time is a little bit all over the place. So early Feb this year, we had a kickoff meeting at Imperial
Yeah.
College.
Hmm.
So we were 8 mentors. We were a total of 8 mentors, and if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, during the kickoff meeting, we were like 22, 24, something like that,
Yes.
students. And
Hmm.
then after that, I think about 17, 18 out of these 20 something, they
Yeah.
decide to enroll with the program.
Yeah.
And that also was, I would say, a pretty successful kickoff meeting, because I think it was really
Yeah.
important to explain to the students what is going to happen, what was the event, the initiative,
Hmm.
structure. Very important for the mentors to present themselves to the
Right.
students, because that
Right.
that is key. Something that
Mm.
I understood from the get-go was how
Mm.
important is i- to pair the right
Yeah.
mentors with the right mentees.
Yes.
That, I mean, that
Yes.
actually that is key. You see, if you are
Hmm.
paired with a mentor that maybe cannot really fully help you, maybe it's not the best. So it's
Right.
important for the students to know exactly what the mentors are about, what are their journey in tech, because of course there are front-end engineers and product managers and data engineers. So different
Right.
roles. So it's very
Right.
important to know that. What do you remember about the kickoff meeting? The
Act- Actually, nothing because I was not there.
Yeah,
I
you were
had
not there. So that was
some.
the only one that you were not there, because I know that you've been in pretty much
Mhm.
every of the events. Okay, that was the only
Yeah.
one that you
I
didn't
had
attend.
some preoccupants. I don't remember what was there, but I knew it
Okay.
was happening and I couldn't join.
Hmm.
But I did sign up anyway because I met most of you in the December, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
fifth
course,
session.
you had context. You are
Yeah.
already had context.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one.
Hmm.
So yeah, and that was it. So we had like a couple of sessions, actually 3 sessions to be
Mm.
correct, at Imperial College, with a month of distance between the
Right.
events, where we,
Hmm.
as a mentors, we've done few presentations about common topics that we think is important
Yeah.
to know. And then there was the office tour. The office tour
Yes.
also was hopefully a nice initiative.
Hmm.
The office tour, I think we've done that in April,
Yes.
this
End of
this year,
April.
end of April, the
Yeah.
25th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. The office
Mm.
tour was held at my current company, News UK. So there is a big building. So there was very interesting to tour a few of the floors. I think
Hmm.
that we've toured the Times floor, which of course my team. So we've toured the level 10 and level 11, so where the actual newsroom is. So that
Hmm.
was hopefully interesting. We've done a tour at the Sun floor upstairs,
Yeah.
and we also went like on the 17th floor, so very
Yes.
the very upper floor, into a board room, in a board meeting room, very big room, where other people from the company, they gave a little bit of their time in order to do some presentations about their role,
Yeah.
about their team, because I think that sharing this context is very important.
Right.
I remember that we ended up having a principal engineer from the Sun,
Uh-huh.
our chief architect. We had a product manager from the Times. We had a
Right.
senior data science. So we had a multitude of different roles coming from different teams, trying to,
Yes.
yeah, try to share that kind of knowledge, try to give that kind of exposure. So you were there. I know for a
Yeah.
fact, because I remember you. So
Yes.
what do you remember from that office tour?
It was pretty good because, first of all, since our lead, Clement, was not in town,
Mm,
as being part of the core, he actually like handed me over to anchor the entire thing. So it was pretty cool, like also calling in people, making sure everyone's there, safe and sound, you
mm,
know, making sure everyone's together, going up, and everyone was pretty excited to visit an office, and especially the one that's like in front of the tallest building in Western Europe, the Shard.
The child, yeah.
So yeah, and we asked some pretty good, insightful questions. We got to know so much. Personally, I did not know there was so much non-technical roles within a tech company. I knew that there has to be some, but I did not know it's this vast and how important it is to have them. Since I spoke to many of the professionals who were explaining me why it is important to have such roles in a big company
Mm-mm.
with business owners, with stakeholders, and with developers such as you, such as me. And yeah, so it was pretty cool. We also met the CTO of the Times,
Mm.
Mr. Simon.
Simon Farnsworth, yeah, pretty
Yes,
good.
and yeah, so that also kind of like excited people because you're getting to meet a CTO of a pretty big company face to face and very transparent. We were asking a lot of
Mm.
questions and expecting, and we also got pretty good answers for that.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
And also, they are just to have the exposure to tour different floors and see
Hmm.
how genuinely different teams, operate.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
interesting stuff is clearly, News UK is not a tech company; is a media company because pretty much
Yes.
there's the Time, the Sun. But of course, tech is very important. So
Hmm.
tech is slowly, going at the heart of all the operations because of course we are moving towards a fully digital world, right? So there is
Exactly.
unfortunately nothing that we can do about that. But that's very interesting to see. Yeah, different roles, different teams. So yeah, very very interesting. And then there was the internship, and then there was
Yes.
the internship. So
Yeah.
I was lucky. I was able to get uh, just to give all the people listening to this an idea. We finished off the academy a little bit late. I think it was the end of May, and the
Yeah.
reason was that, of course, in May, all of you students, you have the exams. So,
Yeah.
of course, really not. I appreciate really not the time and the peace of mind to attend the mentoring session. So the exams were, of
Right.
course, the most important
Hmm.
things to do. So we had to postpone it to the end of May. So the long story short is we really had almost no time because summer internships usually start in July.
Yeah.
So we had really a month to try to, together a single opening because
Yeah.
for this year, 2023, we were only able to have one.
Hmm.
For next year, summer 2024, hopefully we will have many more, but just talk about what actually already happened. So one
Hmm.
position for software engineer intern at
Hmm.
the time. So in one of the engineering teams at the times. So the challenge then for us, there was such short notice that we really needed to to do that as quick as possible. So there was a very quick short list, process. I think I've got
Hmm.
something like AB, about 8 to 10 CV. That is
Right.
still interesting because
Yeah.
we really had no time. So I
Hmm.
think I think we shortlisted like 3 or 4. So we invited then
Right.
over 3 or 4 people to
Hmm.
the to our office in order to have an interview there. And at the end of the day, congratulations to you. You were the one, quote unquote, winning the internship. So well done. Of
Right.
course, your interview was pretty well done. We really liked you as a
Hmm.
person, but also the experience that you had was relevant for what
Right.
we do because you had both Android experience and we have an Android team, as
Yeah.
well as web experience and we have
Hmm.
multiple web teams. So
Yeah.
that clearly gave you even more, you know what I mean? Because the flexibility that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Right.
and that was pretty much, I think, in
Mhm.
the matter of a very few weeks. Yes, we made that happen, and you officially started on the 10th of July
Yeah.
as a software engineer interns
Hmm.
for one of the web teams in
Yes.
at the Times.
Mhm.
So, and your experience, I think, concluded last week. The
Yeah.
31st was your last day. So the internship was for 8 weeks.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts of all of that?
Right. Thoughts, initial thoughts. Again, as you said, it was a bit clamped up
Mm,
because of the exams and because of the pilot series. So yes, so since like we got to know pretty late about the internship, there was a lot of shuffling around with
mm,
accommodation, flight tickets, and housing contracts. So yeah, but of course that got settled down pretty quickly. But of course, knowing that from next year a bit closer, like farther away from the starting date, would be better
yeah, absolutely.
for
Yes.
like a majority of people. But yeah, since it was the first year and we had to postpone the
Mm,
last session, it was it was fine. It was everything worked out in the end.
mm. Okay, nice one.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that. And of course, next year we will do things with a little bit more time. So,
Yeah.
8 weeks as a software engineer intern in one of the web teams.
Hmm.
What was your experience? Right?
Right. Um, Coming into the Times, it's like a big company. So the first thoughts at entering the team, it was a good team of seven, 8 people. Attending stand-ups was a good way to start off the day. Getting up to date, getting to know what task you're gonna do, and during the onboarding process, seeing that one small change takes roughly an entire day for it to push to production.
Hmm.
So so that's also quite necessary since it goes through so many stages
Mm,
before it actually releases. And previously, I was under the impression that direct push to master will automatically go to production, but
mm.
not really. No.
No, right.
Um, no. So there's of course there's staging, then production, then it ships off. So it's not the end of the world if you push like something into master. So it's kind of satisfying to know. Also, it's uh it's a good process and make sure everything is fine, everything is working. Because if the site is down even for 1 second, that can actually be like very detrimental to the
Mm-mm.
entire company. So that's very important. So learning about the different learning about QA, the DevOps, the platform was something that was very new to me as I never worked on that before. And along with that, of course, tied up with this platform is of course the web experience. Knowing about submodules like Lerna, we use that
Mm.
Lerna to compile everything. Looking at the bots which like push the version numbers directly to the code base. Um,
Dependent bot. Yeah.
yes, yes. So there was quite not just web development, but there were a lot of different areas within the team within the the Times media that I got to learn, which was which was much more essential than just focusing on learning about the web.
Yeah, absolutely. You said something very, very right. Context is important, right? You
Hmm.
just can't do a job blindly. You know what I mean? You need to know why you are doing that. You need to be
Yeah,
invested. You need to understand the circumstances. You need to understand the context. Otherwise,
yeah,
it's a little bit I would not say pointless, but it's not that meaningful. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, and if I'm not mistaken, you also attended the editorial conference. There was
Hmm.
the one where the editor and I think I don't know the technical term, the heads of let's say
Yeah.
newsroom. I think
Uh-huh.
they decide what goes to the homepage. That was an interesting meeting,
Yeah.
I think. Right?
Yes, thanks to you for giving the heads up on that. It's like
Ah, yeah,
you
yeah,
should
no
you should
problem.
definitely attend that one. It's good. So yes, it was it. You know how some people say that movies don't exactly reflect some
Hmm.
of the real world stuff. They are wrong in case of a boardroom meeting. It's exactly how you see it in the movies. Bunch of random people,
Mm,
not random as in employees, and a lot of hierarchy as well. Like There's a head, there's sub, there's little less,
Mm,
a lot of them. Big table, big room, and without any time waste, sit down and start off. No time waste.
mm, 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 mm.
And listening to everyone's stories. Everyone had a different department, a section that they had to research on, they had to find out about. So that's what I gathered from the meeting, and it was pretty cool. Everyone taking terms, everyone presenting and showing the articles they've posted, the research they've done, the breaking news that's there currently. So it was just an hour of, you know, less than an hour, but listening to a
Yeah.
lot of news happening on a single day. Since this
Mm.
happens every day, I presume that
Yeah.
it's a daily thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on one particular day, like what exactly is happening, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool to know.
Actually happens multiple time per day. I think like a couple or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Yeah,
Okay.
very interesting. So so see, just to have this exposure, just to
Hmm.
to be able to witness something different, something that is difficult, to do if you don't do that
Yeah.
there in that environment. In terms of support, like the team members, so did you
Mhm.
feel supported? Like, what was the deal there?
Yes, definitely feel big support coming from the team. The team was really good. They were always ready to help whenever you needed them. So just a message on Slack, and if they're free, just shoot a message and they will reply. You don't even need to send a specific person. You could just send a
Mm,
message in the channel, and anyone who's free can just message you out of the blue. And like, yes, I think this is the issue. Can you try doing this? So big support from the team, and very understanding as well. Like some days I wasn't really well, so maybe slept a bit late.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, everything is taken care of. There a flexibility of hybrid, coming to office, working from home,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and that's also a good thing ever since COVID started. I believe like that's the norm which a lot of people
Yeah,
follow.
mm, correct.
Yeah, and not only from the team which I was in, people from the other team also, they would invite for, have lunch, let's catch up, and that's also a good way to make new connections and expanding and having exposure to different roles within the team.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, that was pretty good. Also, I had the same impression that you were blending with the team very
Hmm.
well. You've been treated as a team member. You haven't been
Yeah,
treated like a special case, or you were a team member, of course, with the
yeah,
appreciation of clearly the expectations were the right one, the expectations
hmm,
for an intern. But you were, part of the team. You've been part of the daily stand-up refinement
yeah,
sessions, retro, demo. So for 8 weeks, you
hmm,
were almost like a junior, right? So you
yeah,
were treated almost like a junior and engineer, and not even
yes,
an intern. And that I think if that is done in the right way, is
mm.
probably the best way of doing that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt that you felt part of the team and integrated with the team, and of course with the willingness to work with other people to achieve something.
Yes, definitely. As you said, it never felt like it's an intern.
Hmm.
Ask him to change a typo. It wasn't like that. I was given initially I was given on some easy tickets to work on, and then slowly transitioning. After a month, I got some good tickets,
Mm.
big tickets to work on, and pair programming is really important when it comes to these
Yes.
things, because there's everything, like nothing is a one man job. So yes, so by the end, I was collaborating with two other people from the team on working on a new channel page, which is set to
Mm.
release in a couple months when the
Hmm.
everything is ready. So knowing that you had an input on the main website, it's good to know. Yeah.
It's good to know. It's also something, I guess, valuable. So you know that
Yeah.
some of your code already has or will be or shortly will be a part of thetimes.co.uk.
Yes.
So not too bad, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we are almost out of time. Really, a few minutes left. So I wanted to quickly ask you, what was the highlight of your 8 weeks internships? Internship.
The biggest highlight would be making connections, talking with
Mm,
everyone in the team. Because, of course, like coding is one thing, but if you are in a team where there's no support, where there is, not a very good people to work with, or there's a lot of reasons things can go wrong, but I can't find a single reason where in these 8 weeks there's anything um, wrong with the team. It was near perfect. The biggest highlight would be coming to office and someone would say, "Hi, I heard you're new. What's um, what's what's the deal?" And making connections like that, and making those connections deeper by meeting them every day
mm.
in the office, getting to know them, working with them. So it's more about the environment that really brings a change into the work life, and that was something that I experienced quite nicely with working in the Times.
I'm very happy to hear that because I think that is one of the fundamental things, and the fact that this thing is there is very very valuable
Hmm.
for us. So that was great. Thank you. So we are excited for the new cycle of the academy. We will kick off early October. So
Yep.
dates and everything will follow soon. So
Hmm.
yeah, that will be exciting. So having you helping me as a lead this time,
Yep.
GDSC lead. So, and of course, you've been through all the program. You've been the first intern, so
Mm.
you are a very important piece in this academy initiative. So excited that will
Super
be
excited.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully will be pretty good.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Any last word? Any last shout out?
Shout outs to teammates, especially Yuki Inasawa and Ibrahim Kunan. Yuki and I joined together, so we worked on a lot of tasks together, and Ibrahim especially with the onboarding process and
Mm,
his full support during the internship. A big thanks to Clement for
mm.
hosting GDG Academy with Imperial, because without him and without yourself, like this wouldn't have been possible. So yeah, that's something I would say.
Nice one. I appreciate that. Thank you, and
Mhm.
I thank you for your help during the for setting up and the academy, and also for being a very great intern. Very easy to work with. Very
Mhm.
reasonable. You've done absolutely great. So best of
Thank
luck
you so
for
much.
your year two in Imperial
Yep.
College. Now you are back into your
Yeah.
college. So for the year two, it's gonna be of course many challenges, but that will be fine. I'm sure, and
Mhm.
hopefully we will see you as a perm maybe when you finish your 4 years. That can be. I mean, cool. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
see, but there is still a little
Yeah.
bit of time. So for now, it's
Definitely.
important you to finish your degree first, your
Yeah.
journey, and then of course many opportunities will arise for you. I'm sure.
Right.
All right, Nishant.
Mhm. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
very much for this. Taking the time. I know that you are in India. You are 4.5 hours ahead, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty late for you. So please please
No,
please.
it's no worries. Yeah.
Okay. Take
Mhm.
take some take some rest, and I'll
Yeah.
definitely see you soon for the next cycle of the academy.
Yeah. And thank you so much for hosting this podcast. It was amazing. Yeah. And hoping to see you soon.
Yeah, nice one. All right. Thank you so very much, and